Hey guys, how's it going? This is my 6-month overview video of the F86 Saber by Eflite, the UMX one, obviously. The big one hasn't been around for centuries and eons. It got discontinued well before I was in this hobby. So let's go over this plane. So, this is the Eflite Viper 60, or not, shit, I was just talking about the Viper. This is the Eflite F86 UMX. It's 30mm 4S EDF. It's literally the UMX Viper on the inside, but vice versa, because the UMX Viper is newer than this. It flies amazing because it is 4S. It is very fast. Some things about it, it is a little bit heavy compared to some older jets like the Citation. Also because it has a smaller wingspan because it's a warbird. So launching it is a little bit inconvenient because you'll launch it and it'll take either a second to get in the air or it might stall. But taking off, just punch it up elevator and you'll be in the air, no sweat. Some things about it. If you fly off dirt, take the gear off before you fly it, or else you're going to end up dinging up the nose like I did, because my gear straight up tore out. So take the gear off. Just trust me on this one. It's, nice thing about a Saber is in crashes, only thing really that will get damaged is your nose. Because even if you stall it, it'll still end up nose down. When you hit the ground, your wing is at an angle that it won't take damage. Your tail will take damage, however, if you roll into the ground and like that angle is where the tail will take damage. I've only had to repair the tail like maybe 3 times, as you can see from the glue and the wrinkles on it. But I've had this plane for 6 months, and yet she's still going strong. This thing lasted longer than my UMX Timber X. And I think it really deserves a spotlight. So I'm going to talk about the flying because I don't have any videos of it, and it's really hard to film planes this small. I am getting some meta glasses, however, so that I can film these planes without having to have my co-pilot or my Brody with me, because he low-key does not. No offense to him, his phone doesn't like to focus on them, and yeah, meta glasses are really nice for that. Some nice things about this plane. I know you can't see it because the nose is super crapped up, but it comes with very nice decals. It's very scale. Like, it's very well detailed. I don't know what foam it's made of. I don't think it's EPO. It's not EPS, because I think EPS is the super brittle one. I don't actually know what it is, but it's a super rigid, super strong foam, and it will not crack or bend in the air. It's made of a different type of foam than the UMX Timber X and some other planes. Because that plane, when you crash it, has a little bit of give. This doesn't. This plane, in my speed testing trials, did about, I forgot what it was. I think it was between 60 and 80. With the gear on, it did about 55. With the gear off, it did about 60 to 80. The one where I did 90 was because I had a tailwind, and I hit 90, and then the plane started to tweak really hard, so I had to go lower speed. This plane, really, its sweet spot in flight is between 40 and 60. At 30, she'll get kind of stall happy in turns, and any lower, she's going to stall on you. It is a little bit of a stall happy plane. It has a few bad tendencies. One of them being that it can, in a stall, which it does a lot, it'll freak out a little bit. And another thing is, if you're coming out of a loop at lower altitude, like this jet really thrives between 150 and 100 feet. Because I was doing about 30 feet when I did this loop, and it stalled in the top, and when it was coming out, it didn't have enough speed to recover. And luckily in this crash, it was okay because of the way it crashed, because it literally crashed level with the ground like that. But according to my speed readings, it was going approximately 50 when it crashed, which is a lot, especially for a UMX plane. Something like my Viper 64 probably wouldn't survive crashing at that speed, let alone this thing. But it did because of the angle it crashed at, because what happened is it literally crashed tail down and then leveled out, which was, because it was soft dirt, that was enough to slow it down almost instantly. some other things about it. It runs a small little 450 4S. You're going to get about 3 to 4 minutes of flight time. In cold weather, you're going to get about 3 minutes 30. In warm weather, you'll be able to maybe push it to 4 if you're super light on the throttle. I am not, like, I've got a heavy thumb, dude. Like, it spends most of its time at full throttle because it's just so fun at full throttle. Like, this jet really just feels special when you go full throttle. Because it will rocket off. And then you can kind of, if you cut a turn at full throttle, it's the most glorious feeling ever. It just looks so good doing it. One thing about the UMX planes is, especially this one, a lot of them are super fragile and brittle, and you'll end up breaking parts. I've had to buy literally one part for this plane ever, and that was because of my mistake. Because the little servo cover I ripped off to try to save a tiny bit of weight after I'd removed the landing gear. Oh no, I had the gear on, so I thought it would be safe to remove it. So I was coming in with the gear on, and then my gear collapsed, and that caused the servo to get chewed up, so I had to buy a new servo. I didn't actually buy one. Some people would have to buy one, but I just stole one from my Sport Cub. Somehow it can survive this voltage, even though it was a 1S to 4S difference. No clue how, but I ain't complaining. I don't have a battery with me, and I'm trying to get this video done in one take, but I will show you guys some of the settings I'm running on my radio for this aircraft. Let's go. So this is my NX20. I'm making a video about radios, too, very soon, but let's go into it. Let me see, where is it? UMX F86. Come on, wake up. I was just using this thing earlier. Main screen. So I'm running 3 minutes 40 seconds on it. I have 0 trim set up because it flies almost perfect. One thing is, after a few crashes and re-gluing the tail, the angle is slightly off, so it rolls to one side, but it's no big deal. So I do run safe on this plane. Most of my UMX planes I always fly with safe on. I really only have one plane that two planes that I'm comfortable flying without safe, being my Technim and my Extra. My Extra just doesn't have it. And my glider, but that's because it's a glider. That doesn't really count. A glider could fly itself without safe. But my Technim, it's because it's super docile. Like, you can fling it around, it won't bite you. Like, it's got tons of lift. Here it is up here. I'm making a video about it soon, too, because it's almost at 3 months. But, yeah. So, UMX F86. So, I'm going to rate it out of 10 on 3 things. So, first up, looks. Or no, actually 5 things. First up, looks. Looks, honestly, out of the box, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. For how long the looks last, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. So, on average, a 9.5. Not bad at all. Like, it's a really good-looking jet, especially if you like earlier, like, Korean War era jets. Like, this jet will tickle your fancy. It looks very nice out of the box. Like, some UMXs look okay out the box. Or, like, the Iishi Moorbirds look good in the air, but you can tell up close that they're not that detailed. This is very detailed. The only reason that it's not a 10 out of 10 on the looks, because a lot of people aren't lenient with how they rate their planes. I am. The reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is because it just doesn't have a scale cockpit. But on this scale, you kind of expect that. I don't think the UMX Viper has that either. Actually, it might. Really quick, one thing to go over. In a crash, the nice thing about this jet is some jets, the battery's inside it, and it could cause a fire if you crash it really hard, which you won't be crashing a UMX Sabre really hard. But the battery pops out with the hatch. Maneuverability, aerobatics. A lot of people will give this plane a higher rating than I will. It might just be the way I fly it because I'm newer to jets. I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. You can throw it around, but if you're looking for a jet to throw around, the UMX Viper is much better for you. Like, throwing this thing around, it can do loops phenomenally. Like, loops, it's a machine at. Rolls, it's a machine at. However, inverted, it freaks out and tries to basically kill itself. Like, it tried to crash when it was flying inverted. Hopefully, YouTube won't get pissed because I said the phrase kill itself. P.S. I'm talking about a plane, YouTube. It's different, okay? But still, it's a good plane. For aerobatics, next up is, shit, I'm tweaking, bro. It's a 6 out of 10 on aerobatics. Over time, it's stayed the same, if not gotten better. Now that the servos have kind of worn in a little bit, they're more, what's it called, aggressive now. Next factor. This factor is the, what's it called? Ease of flight. Flight ease. I got this as my very first ever jet, not counting the little F35. You guys have never seen that on the channel, and you never will. That was well before I had a channel, but that thing sucked. It was a little 30mm F35 off Amazon, 2S plane. It flew great about once, and then it never wanted to fly again. I have one really funny clip of it that I might post, but probably won't. Some details of this plane really quick. Just, shit, I was doing it. Oh, ease of flight. So this plane, I'd give it, okay, so it was my first ever jet. So I have had some experience before that. However, I went from a Sport Cub S2 I went from an FMS Ranger to a Sport Cub to, what's it called? I forgot what it was. Oh, crap. Let me think. Oh, to the P-51D, and then from that to this. The P-51D gave me a lot of training and confidence with this aircraft. I'm comfortable to fly warbirds and jets now because of the P-51. Because the first time I flew the P-51, I was freaking out because it kept trying to stall on me. This tried to do the same thing, but because I had probably 50 flights on the P-51 by then, I knew how to handle it. So for that reason, for beginners, no. Second or third plane, I'd say maybe. I would say if you're going from a trainer straight to this, unless you've really gotten comfortable with your trainer, which most people probably haven't, because after you go from a trainer to another plane, you get overconfident. It happens to all of us. That's kind of what happened with the Timber X. I thought I was good enough for an aerobatic plane. I wasn't yet. Now I am, but I wasn't then. So you'll get overconfident. We all do. Everybody gets overconfident with their flying skills, and that's okay, man. It doesn't necessarily mean anything about you as a pilot. However, if you have had like a warbird like the Eflite T-28 Perfect, the 1.1 meter, or the 1.0 meter, what's it called, P-51, something of that nature, or any of the FMS like 800mm lineup before this, except the Beaver, the 800mm warbirds. If you've had any of those, you'll be so well off. Like, you'll know how to handle stalls and stuff. So I would say this is a great third airplane. Truly, your second plane, I don't know. Your third, definitely. I highly recommend this as a third plane. So for the ease of flight, I'm going to give it, simply because it has some bad tendencies, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and then over time, it's gained a few tiny little things, which will knock it down to a 7.5. So on average, like a 7.2, 7.75. I'll just average it to an 8 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10 on that. Next up will be our ease of maintenance. Ease of maintenance, this plane actually is not too bad. I've had to do very few things. Like, I used to do paint touch-ups. I don't really do that as much. I covered up the decals for literally no reason. Because I was trying to do paint touch-ups on spackle. Don't spackle UMX planes, guys. You can't see the wrinkles in flights, and it'll just make it look worse. But whatever, dude. We all make mistakes. But ease of maintenance, honestly, like some UMX planes, the servos are glued in, which makes swapping them a little bit annoying, especially with linear servos because of the way the gears are. If you accidentally get any glue whatsoever on the gears, they will not work. or it'll be super clicky. The nice thing about this one is it's bolted in, which is super nice. I love it when they do that on these planes. So that's nice. It was bolted in. I don't have to fight with it when it does that. So ease of maintenance, I'm going to give it like a 9.9 out of 10. Like 0.1 from the servo, but even that was easy. So honestly, 10 out of 10 on maintenance. Like ease of maintenance, you don't even have to maintain it. If you don't crash, you don't have to maintain it. I don't know how swapping electronics are. However, seeing as how easy it is to access the EDF, I don't think it would be that bad. Some things about this plane that you should know. Rudder authority. It has okay rudder authority, but I'd like to bring this up because sometimes if you're on the rudder, it won't do anything. Like, it just won't rudder. I don't know. It just needs excess rudder sometimes. So, for ease of maintenance and ease of flight, 10 out of 10, and a 7.5 out of 10. So then next up, this is going to be controversial, but, what's it called? I care about this personally, hence I might honestly, guys, comment down below if you've even watched this long, because this video is going to be 20 minutes probably. Comment down below if you prefer Insanity RC or like Backroads RC or something like that. Or not Backroads, Backcountry RC or something like that. Because I really do live out in the sticks, and that's why I'm ranking planes on how they take off. So takeoffs and landings. Gear off, hand launch it so it can take off in 0 feet, literally. Hand launchings are a little bit hard, especially if you're a beginner, because if you had another UMX plane before this, you might be comfortable just giving it a super light toss. You have to straight up hurl this thing at full throttle. Make sure your gyro's on. Hand launching with the gyro off it's not doable. Like, it just does not like that. But, with it on, you'll be great. Some other things about this bird, when it comes to takeoffs and landings. With the gear, it did about 30 feet at the sponsored airfield because I was not able to get it up on the dirt out here. The dirt does slow down airplanes, but I just couldn't get it up. It just had too small of gear. So, besides that, really great. But, if you're taking off dirt, hand launching is your best method. Landing with gear off, super easy. The strategy is to be going about so its stall speed is about 10 to 20 miles an hour. You'll feel it. Because when you hand launch it, what will happen at full throttle is it can gain speed decently quick. So your toss alone will get you to probably 10 miles an hour to 15. Plus the thrust, it should get up past stall speed. Sometimes it won't and it will crash, but usually it can get past stall speed. You have to chuck it really high. You can't do like a low chuck. You have to straight up hurl it into the sky like that. So you have to hurl it, but if you hurl it, it'll go up. Landings, what I do is I go between 30 and 20 miles an hour, which is well above its stall speed and fast enough that it won't like bounce, or it's fast enough that it will stick the landing properly. Because this plane, what I've noticed is at low speed, what will happen is it'll hit the ground and it'll just stop immediately. But it's so satisfying when you land a plane without the gear and it just greases. And that's what I do. Like, I just grease it. So takeoffs and landing with gear. The gear are great. But if they get super dinged up, you might just want to land it without it. On pavement, this plane has some skids on the bottom. Like, obviously not a ton as you can see, but this little nose part can kind of work as a skid. This works as a skid. But this foam's not going to get chewed up too bad by your runway. Especially if you have a super smooth runway like we do. Where I fly. But, so landings on pavement, it's the same almost, just you might have to clean up the bottom a little bit if it gets scraped up too bad. Some more features of this plane. I'm not sure if it does have it, but I heard someone talking about it. Hand launch assist, where if you throw it, safe will kind of pitch up slightly, which I do kind of feel a little bit when I do it, but takeoffs and landings, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's definitely not STOL under any capabilities. It just won't take off in a short distance, but it doesn't do too bad. So for that, like 6 out of 10. The final thing, which some of you guys care about a lot, I don't that much. Well, I do. Speed. For a UMX, it's very fast. The UMX A10 and Citation are the two other UMX planes that I've been lucky enough to fly that are jets. And I flew a UMX MiG-15 once, but it was super slow. But the UMX A10 does about 50. And the UMX Citation, I pushed it to 92 once, and it ripped apart and became foam. On average, the Citation does about the same as the what's called A10. Wait, did I accidentally say MiG does 50? I meant to say A10 does 50. But this is faster than both of them. Although those will be a little bit more forgiving for a beginner because of the foam they're made of, this is like eons faster. It does about 50 to 60 on average. Again, with the throttle pinned, you can get it well above 80. And at those speeds, it does have some wobble issues. So, like, you'll notice it'll slightly do that at speeds if you're turning. But what I like to do is I'll go into a turn at borderline at stall point, go full throttle, and it'll straight up rocket away. This plane has plenty of power to get you out of sticky situations. Don't fly it on 3S. I tried it once. It didn't have enough power. It needs 4S, just like the Viper 64. So on 4S, though, it's a rocket ship. So 10 out of 10 speed for a UMX. For a full-size plane, it's not even close to a 10 out of 10. For a full-size plane, it's maybe a 6 out of 10. But on average, an 8 out of 10 for speed in total. And a 10 out of 10 for UMX. So on average, this plane is an 8 out of 10. Some people say it's worse. Some people say it's higher. Almost all the videos I've seen of it, they say it has bad tendencies, which I do agree with. But in total, man, I love this thing. Okay, dude. I know a lot of people don't like UMX planes, and they say they just don't fly as good. And in some cases, that's true. Like the UMX Timber X, it was a fun plane when I had it. Does not live up to the hype of the full-size Timber X. The UMX, let me think. What's it called? The UMX, Slow Ultra Stick, not bad, it's just not great. More expensive than it should be. That plane should be at $99, ready to fly. But it's not. The UMX biplanes are all great. But most people say UMX just doesn't fly as good. Which is true. But with this plane, it's not that bad. Mostly because it's a more modern UMX. Some of the older UMXs don't fly as good. But this does. So, yeah. Comment down below what you think of this bird. I love it. I think it's a spectacular plane. And I'm thrilled that I own it. Like, it was probably one of my best purchases. Skill, doesn't need that much skill. But, yeah. Especially, one thing I really like about this plane is the fact that you can literally get it out of the box, charge the battery, and because it's a tiny little battery, on a good charger, you'll have it charged in 5 minutes. Charged in 5 minutes, you get up, and you fly. And that's just what I love about UMX planes. They're just easy. And they're also fun because you can fly it in smaller spaces. This is not a small space plane, however. I never fly it in front of my house, which I do with some of my planes. I mean, I do it with the Technim, but this I don't fly in front of the house because it's, well, a rocket ship. But, yeah. Overall, I love this plane. Like, subscribe. I'm hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers in the next 2 years. I think we have potential to do it. I'm going to be making much more frequent long-form video uploads. However, these do take time, and I have school. But I will see you guys eventually. Have a nice day.